Welcome to Problem Solving with Decimals. In this lesson, we're going to look at the steps required to solve any word problem, and then we're going to go on and apply these steps to solving problems that involve using decimals. We'll remember that the first thing that we're going to want to do is to box the target. So we're going to go to our target, wherever it is in the words, and we're going to draw a box around it. It'll help us to solve the solution because we know what we're looking for, but also it'll remind us as we go on in our search and do all the calculations that this is what we're exactly looking for. Highlight the facts. Well, this is where we're going to go up into the words of our problem, and we're going to highlight largely any numbers or any other facts that might apply to finding this target. So a couple of key pieces there. One is a lot of these items will include extra facts or extraneous facts. We have to make sure that if we don't need them, we don't highlight them. Next thing is sometimes the words will be written as numbers. The next thing we do is we might want to draw a table or a diagram. Sometimes it helps us to visualize the problem or even sort of tell the story. We know that if the story involves growing, and we're dealing with wholes and parts now with decimals, if the thing is growing by unequal values, it's more than likely addition. If we are taking a group of things and totaling them, it's addition. If we are taking two things and we are comparing them in terms of, say, their differences, more than likely it's subtraction. Or if we are taking away pieces and the pieces are different values, once again, more than likely subtraction. If something is growing by the same amount, when we say something each costs so much, or we're going up by a factor of, we're going to multiply. Watch with parts. When we go fractions and we say something of, and we're taking a fraction of something, it's still multiplying. Lastly, if we are taking equal parts of things, then we are more than likely dividing. The key wording be equal parts. Where does the table or the diagram come in? Well, often they'll help us see what it is that we're doing. Are we growing by different values? Are we multiplying, increasing by the same? Are we taking a part of a whole, to multiplication, or are we dividing equal parts? If it can help us recognize the story, that's great. Tables are very, very important for multiple steps. Often, sometimes we'll have to add things and then multiply, or some other version of that. Tables are really good with money questions. The next thing is we're going to choose the operation. So we can look at our table or diagram, and we can see what the story is, and then we're going to choose addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. The other ones is we're going to look for keywords like each and of and total and sum and difference. We're also going to look for per and other ones like that, or split equally, which will give us some very big clues about the operations. Once we've chosen the operation, we want to do a very quick estimate. We're going to round to a place that helps us do it quickly as mental math. Next, we're going to do the operation, and we're going to do them in order. What this means is if it's a single step, we're just going to go and do the one that we've chosen. If it's, however, a multiple step, we're going to remember to do them in order. So we will do brackets and exponents first, division and multiplication next, and then addition and subtraction. And if I separate them, that's because if it's a choice between division and multiplication, just do left to right. If it's a choice between addition and subtraction, do just left to right. However, if it's division and addition, or some other combination, then do them in the order of bed mass. Lastly, we're going to take a look at our estimate, which is our rounded values added up. And then we're going to look at our actual result, which is our exact values added up. If they are close and they match, then we're going to give a big check mark. Okay then, let's go on to do one of these actual problems. So one of the first things that you'll want to make sure that you do is that you read the word problem all the way first so you get a sense of all the pieces. Here Rachel is driving from Edmonton to Calgary. It takes him 0.25 hours to drive from house to highway, 1.4 hours to drive from highway to Red Deer. He stops in Red Deer and takes a 0.6 hour break. Then he drives for 1.75 hours before he reaches Calgary. It says, how much time did Rachel spend driving? So remember, our first step is to box the target. So we're going to go here and we're going to box the target. If I have to say that one of the things about these word problems is they seem like extra work. So if we are being stepwise, we know that we have the time to solve the problem. In fact, we know that by being stepwise, we make less errors and it becomes easier to find out what we're supposed to do. So in fact, we may actually even save time. Anyway, coming back to this, we've boxed the target. How much time did Rachel spend driving? Next, we want to go on and highlight the facts. So we pull out our magic highlighters and we say, oh, he's driving. Took him 0.25 hours to get to the first place, 1.4 hours to get to the next, and then we've got this 0.6. But we're going to stop here and think about this 0.6 because it's an hour break for lunch. If we remember from our target, it's only the time that he has spent driving. So we're going to skip the 0.6 hours. That's an extraneous piece of information. Then we're going to look at this 1.75 hours. I've skimmed and scanned back. I've found all my facts. Okay. Next, we've got to draw either a table or a diagram. In this case, it's not dealing with money, and I don't see anything that would suggest that it's a multiple step. So I'm just going to go with a quick little diagram. So here I'm going to draw the first part of his trip took 0.25 of an hour. Then I go on to read it took 1.4 of an hour. He took the 0.6 break. We're not counting that, so then we're going to go another 1.75 of an hour. So I can see from the diagram that I'm going up by values. They're different values. I'm being asked for how much time. So when I choose the operation, it is typically matching addition. So the next step I have after I've chosen my operation is I'm going to estimate. So here I'm going to list my numbers, but I'm going to do some rounding. 0.25, 1.4, 1.75 go to the hundredths place. Adding up to the hundredths is a little bit harder. It involves 3 digits. Let's take it down to the tenths. So we're going to go 0.25 becomes 0.3. We round it up. 1.4 can stay 1.4. 1.75 will become 1.8. The key idea is that we want to round to a place so that it becomes easy mental math so we can do it quickly. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 8 is 15. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So we've got an estimate of 1.5. Now let's do the actual values. 0.25, 1.4, and 1.75. We remember from our lesson on adding decimals that we make sure that the decimals line up. If needed, we add any extra zeros. 5 plus 5 is 10. We carry the 1. 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 gives me 3.40. Good. So we performed the operation. We operated. We didn't have to really worry about the order because it was a single step. Then our last step here is to verify. So when we verify, does 3.4 look very close to 3.5? You betcha. One other thing that's nice to do is to write a statement. So he spent 3.4. We can drop the trailing 0 because it was a calculation, not a rounding. He spent 3.54 hours driving. Okay, that's our lesson on solving word problems involving decimals.